indicate you'd like to ask a question. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, hey, that's a tough one. One rebound, one defensive stop. But that wasn't really the game. The game came down and we made some mistakes before that we didn't execute, both offensively and defensively. You got to give Gonzaga a lot of credit. They made the plays they needed to make, and we didn't. So I'm proud of my girls. I thought they played their hearts out. It wasn't one of our better games. It wasn't one of their better games either for Gonzaga. It was a very defensive, physical game, which all our games are with them. And, it's tough. I've lost 2 tournament championships the same way, last second shot. It's been tough, but this team will learn from it. They'll get better. We'll understand what we need to do when it comes down to this time. And I need to do a better job as a coach too. So.
Okay, Jeff, go ahead with the first question.
Yeah, for Shaylee, Jeff Ferrata with the West Coast Conference. Can you just tell me how you digest an outcome like this? It's such a strange game and a strange season, and then it ends so abruptly with a shot that went in the net as the horn was sounding. What were your emotions and how are you feeling about it now?
Yeah, it's very, very frustrating to know that we lost off of the game winner, 0.6 seconds left. But as a team, we need to realize that we need to buckle down, that we need to take care of business, and that's what big teams do. We need to buckle down on our defense and not let them score that. But I'm very proud of my team, and we fought really hard. And, we're just going to use this experience to learn, to grow, and to bring that into the tournament if we go into the NIT or the NCAA tournament.
Thank you.
Next question. Let's see. Go ahead, Norma.
This is for either Coach or for Shaylee, but I guess what's going to be the mentality over the next week or so until you wait for the selection show on Monday and just wait to see if your name gets called?
We're going to come into practice and have that mindset that we are going to go into a tournament. I think it's super important to have that mentality, and just to whatever tournament we go into, we need to take care of business, and we need to know that we're the better team and use this as our fire, to use this game as a learning experience and to just grow and to build. And I think my team can really make it far in whatever tournament we get into, because we don't want to have this feeling again.
And as a follow-up, what's the first step you guys need to take to move on from this loss?
Buckling down on our defense and not coming complacent when we're up. When we're up 10, we got to keep fighting, keep pushing. We can't let down, because we know that teams are going to want it and that they're going to fight back.
Next question. Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, for Jeff again. What do you tell your team? You've been involved with the game for a long time, but these are young women and they're obviously very disappointed. What do you tell them after a game like this?
Well, I told them I was proud of them and told them that, we were 0.6 seconds of winning a championship. And just sometimes the little tiny things make a difference. And it wasn't the shot that caused us the game. It was several other plays before that time that we either didn't make a stop, or we didn't get a rebound, or we didn't execute a play that we needed to score. Just little things. When it comes down to games like this, it comes down to the little things that you do. And they did a better job at really the last minute of the game of executing and making the play that we didn't. It's hard for me to believe that you can fumble it and get a shot off in 0.6 seconds, but I guess that's what it is. And probably if I had to do it over again, I would have called the timeout when I saw their stat and try to, but my team's been in this position before, and we've come on, we usually come out and won it. And I had a lot of trust in them. I had a lot of faith in them. I told them to switch everything, make the ball go out, and they just made a good play, and the kid hit a tough shot.
And do you care to make a case for your team for the NCAA, or do you think that your body of work speaks for itself?
Well, I personally, I think we should go. I think we played Gonzaga 3 times great. We had a couple of hiccups in the conference, but that happens to a lot of people. This team isn't it. I watch other teams that I know are going to go, and we're as good as anybody. And hopefully, through what we've done in the past and what we've done this year, people will look at it and say BYU is a top 64 team in the country.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Coach.
I have
Okay,
another
thanks.
one. Okay. Well, I was
Oh.
gonna just ask another one real quick.
Oh.
Gonzaga had 6 players dealing with gastroenteritis that they came down with yesterday, which in terms ended up affecting their starting lineup and their depth. What was the most difficult part with dealing with the changes that they made, and then particularly with Ejim in the second half?
You talking to me? You want me to answer? Say, Shelley? Me?
Yeah. Mhm.
Gonzaga's tough, and I knew we didn't know if they were going to come and play, but I knew if they came and showed up, that they would give their best effort. They didn't play their best game either, but they had a couple of kids step up tonight that didn't help them earlier and make some baskets. And there's no question Jill Townsend wasn't Jill Townsend today, but we were tired too. We had a hard game yesterday and took a lot out of us, and that's why some of these games aren't as good. But Gonzaga is a very good defensive team, and they don't beat themselves, and that's something that when you play them, you have to execute and not try to force things. I thought we did a little bit of that early in the game, especially when we had some leads where we could have got up 10, 12, 14 points. We just kind of came down and didn't take care of it.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks, Shaylee.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Gonzaga coach Lisa Fortier and Jill Townsend here for the post-game press conference. We're going to start with a statement from Coach Fortier, then we'll open it up for questions. And reminder just to use the raise hand function, and we'll get to as many of you as possible. Go ahead, Coach.
I'm just really happy for our team. It's awesome to do this. It's a lot of fun. There are some people on our team, a lot of them actually, who haven't gotten to celebrate down here in Vegas, and some of them who have, and they know how exciting it is. But I'm just really proud of how tough our team was today. We had a long, long day. And, Townie made the most important shot, or the most memorable shot, maybe we should say, of the game. But it was the 18 minutes prior to that she was gutsy, and Sierra was gutsy. And we had 3 people who'd never started a game today starting for us. So those guys were gutsy, and everything in between. So just really happy for our team and how we are resilient and tough and gritty and all things that say, I'm a Zag, and I'm going to show you what that means if you don't know. So just really, really glad for these guys. We wanted to put them in a position where they could make the plays that they needed to. And Jill, of course, made that play down the stretch. Vonnie made some big plays down the stretch. And I'm babbling because I'm pretty excited for these guys.
Okay, let's have Karthik. Go ahead. Jeff, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you would call on someone else.
I did, but he didn't speak up, so you go ahead.
Okay.
My computer goes. Do you want me to wait?
Jeff, we'll have Jeff go first, and then we'll
Sure.
go Karthik.
That's fine.
Jill, congratulations, first of all. Can you take us through sort of what's been going on for the last half a day or a day, when you got sick and when you realized that you might still be able to play, and kind of what you've been through, and then I'll ask you about the final shot.
It was a long day. Really no other words about it. I kind of got the food poisoning last night late, and some other teammates also did. And so, we just tried to battle through that as hard as we could. Just kudos to our trainer, Kendall, and our team doctor, Molly. They were up all night just with us, getting us fluids. I had an IV. I went to 2 bags of IV fluid an hour before the game. I know C did, and they're working overtime just to get us feeling okay enough to go out there and put some minutes on the court. We weren't sure how many minutes me and C were going to be able to do, but we just knew that anytime that we were going to go out there, we are going to give 110%, and whatever was left in our tank, we were going to just try to leave it out there on the floor for the team, and just try to do as little as we can to make their lives a little bit easier. And then, it wasn't our prettiest game at all. It wasn't my prettiest game at all. But I think when the chips were down and we needed to rally, our team just showed incredible grit and toughness and resilience. And I couldn't be more proud of them. It wasn't just the shot I hit. It was everything that happened before to get us in that position. Yvonne getting that huge jump ball rebound right before so we can get that shot. Her takes. Jen was a monster on the glass also. So, it was a team effort, and it was incredible.
So was it Kaylin who passed the ball inbounds to you?
I think it was Kaylee.
Was it Kaylee?
Yeah.
The play-by-play said Kaylin, but I thought it was probably Kaylee. Can you take me through that play, and did you know you had it off in time, or what was going through your mind when that whole thing unfolded?
Yeah, it was like a blink of an eye. All I knew is when it hit my hands, it needed to go back up, and I had Sarah Hampson right there in my face. So I'm kind of puzzled on how I got it around her. Her hand was up. I really couldn't see the hoop. And I had no idea if I got it off in time. I knew I had a chance that they were going to go look at the replay. I got kind of overcome with just everything that happened. I needed to go sit down for a second after it until I heard the results of whether it counted or not. It was just an amazing play, something I'll probably remember for the rest of my life. I'm not speechless that often, but I definitely was after that.
Well, one last thing, and I'll let somebody else go, but given everything you and your team have been through the last several years here, you broke your leg here 2 years ago. Your coach suffered a terrible family loss, and then you guys lost last year. Can you give this any context to kind of what you feel like now, juxtaposed against all of that stuff?
Yeah, it's amazing. Kind of, I don't know, poetic justice, I think someone said. definitely the heartbreaker rehab after sophomore year, then coming down here and expecting some big redemption tour and then dropping it in the semis versus Portland. Vegas just hadn't been kind to us. And then last night when we all got sick, we're like, this is classic Vegas for the Zags. Like, I mean, could we guess anything else could happen to us? But it kind of made it all worth it in the end for that result we had today. It definitely wouldn't have been as, big or fun if we didn't go through the struggles that we have been these last 3 years down here, for sure.
Thank you.
Karthik, go ahead.
Hey, Joe, I'll start with you. Up until that shot, you hadn't made one all game. And that timeout before, was that something you asked coach you wanted to take the shot? Was that drawn up for you? Kind of give us the play-by-play before the final play.
Yeah, we knew that it was going to have to be an immediate catch and shoot. No dribbles, no nothing. And the coaches, we ran that play a couple times earlier, and I got my shot off, like it was planned. I just couldn't execute, couldn't put it in the hole, and so they knew that I could get it off in time because I had before the last 2 times we ran that play. And so, they put their trust in me, which, is something when I definitely wasn't performing my best. Like you said, I hadn't had any points. And so for them to still trust me, to be able to make that play, it means a lot to me. I think the coach said, or maybe someone said, you only need 2. You only need 2 points when it matters. And yeah.
And coach, you could have gone to Ejim. You could have gone to a couple players that were hot, in that final stretch. Why Jill?
Because she's Jill. It's actually interesting. The beginning of the year, we do a lot of team building and we do a big retreat, and we team build throughout the year. But at our retreat this year, we played this game. It's something about like your comfort zone, your growth zone, and your, I don't know what the last zone is. Uncomfortable, right? So we ask a bunch of questions, some silly ones. Who's afraid of spiders? And you move. And, who's afraid of heights? And then we ask some more serious questions. And one of the questions that we asked was, who wants to take the last shot in a game? And I'm pretty sure Townie was the only person in that circle. Jen made one last year. At some point, that the one before the one that Portland made against us, right? So she made almost a game winner. We've had other players on our team who've made those game winners. Jen was maybe in the comfort zone. I'm like 99% sure that Townie was the only one in the middle. And she's that kind of person, and she's that kind of player. And she doesn't feel, I don't think she feels stress. I mean, she's pretty steady. She feels stressed, but she's great in those scenarios. And there wasn't really any question. We had subbed her in a possession or 2 prior for some defense, and she helped us get a great stop. And Karthik, I think your question, the play before the play, was not necessarily for Townie. We were trying to get Kaylee off a ball screen, and then if we had time, we were going to move it to her to get something up. But it was just the first best shot we got. That last one was designed for her, and we just had a lot of confidence that she would be right mentally, and that was a shot that she could make in her sleep.
One more question for you, coach. After they called that shot good, you came to around midcourt, you squatted a little bit, you were overcome with emotion. What was going on through your head during those moments?
I think I was just, I don't know if I was so happy for them or so happy for my staff or just tired. It's been a long day, but it's also been a long season. So our team has endured just very similar things to a lot of teams around the country. We've been battling the COVID issues and just the whole pandemic. And we've had some loss on our team, and we've been battling the social justice issues and trying to navigate those. And it's been a lot. I don't think that there's a person who's breathing who doesn't think that this year's been a lot. And so at that exact moment, I think I just felt overwhelmed with happiness for these guys. Just like a thank you, gratitude. I told them earlier, like my faith is really important. So a gratitude to God. I was trying as I went into this game to stay really steady, and which I was only so good at. There were times when I was steady, and then there were others I wasn't, but like really trying to do my best to do whatever I thought the team needed the most. And so just happiness for them, I think, was the overwhelming emotion.
Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, first question's for Coach. Coach, you had to obviously rely on some of your younger players to step up today because of the circumstances. Just how would you describe their play, specifically Yvonne Ejim's today?
Yeah, I mean, Bonnie was great. She was, we earlier today called her Baby Melody because she's a freshman who plays with the same kind of energy and hustle plays, and she can guard and she can run and those kind of things. And today she can rebound. Today she had 13 and 9 in 21 minutes, which is more than she's played in any game for sure for our team. Just a lot of confidence in her. And I think she's going to be a great player for us. And today she was a great player for us in this particular game. And she's smart. At some point as a coaching staff, we were talking about like how we were going to have to play some different situations. Obviously, I mentioned already, we started 3 different starters than normally start our game. And the overwhelming sense from the coaches was that Vonnie can guard. Which obviously that was necessary in this game. It was a game of defense because 2 really good teams that scored a combined 85 is not typical. And that she knew what we wanted to do. She digests the scout. She knows how to play each of those players, and she did not disappoint us today. She did all those things very well.
I mean, considering that the tournament is just around the corner, I mean, to get her minutes like this in a championship game, I mean, that's got to be huge, right?
Yeah, well, I think, when Jill and Jen were younger, they played quite a bit as freshmen, not necessarily in critical times like today, but they played a lot of minutes. And Vonnie, with the size of our roster and just the makeup of it, she hasn't gotten as many minutes, nor have Lily or Michaela or Eliza. Some of those younger guys just were really veteran right now. And so I think that we would love to have gotten her some time throughout the season, and it just didn't play out like that. A little more time, I guess I should say. But any time you can play in these types of games, it's valuable. So, who knows? We've said all along, who knows with the pandemic, what we're going to be up against or who we're going to have available. We didn't think it was going to be this food poisoning, GI bug, whatever. But we knew that at any point something would come up. And that's what I love the most about our depth on our team, because there's not a lot of teams that can start 3 people who don't normally start and have a freshman be the leading scorer on their team, and who played in maybe 2 minutes the game prior and still win a championship. And so I love the depth, and I think it speaks to all of our players and what we can do if we're clicking.
I agree. My last question is just for Jill. I asked you a couple days ago if you wanted to face BYU again, considering what they did to you a couple years ago here and that they handed you your only conference loss of the season. You got what you wished for, and you ended up coming up on the winning side of it. Just, does it mean that much more that it was against BYU?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's no lie out there that they're kind of our rivals. We have a long history with them, especially in this conference tournament championship game. And so, some could have said like, halfway through that game when we only had 13 points at half, like, oh no, like this is another BYU Gonzaga food poisoning, like all this stuff. But I think, our team's mindset was not that going into half. We were like, oh, we're only down 9 and we're shooting probably single digits percentage. Like we can't get any worse. So, this next half, we're going to get it done. And we found a way to get it done. And so it does make it a little bit sweeter, I guess, but just be able to lift that trophy no matter who we were playing after having such a long drought, sophomore and junior year, is something special.
Congrats, Jill. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Jeff, one more question. Make it a quick one. Maybe not.
No,
Okay.
Jim, Jenna, again? Okay. He's our main guy back home, so I just check in.
Okay. Yeah, no, we're good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jill. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gosh, now that I look at the stat sheet, I could have said way smarter things.